Welcome to This Explainer. Right now, we're stepping into the shoes of investigative journalists to break down a truly devastating news story coming straight out of Houston's exclusive River Oaks neighborhood. You know, behind those massive gated driveways, a tragic discovery has literally left an entire community reeling and searching for answers. So let's dive right into the timeline and the facts as we know them today, looking strictly at the reports coming in from local authorities.
4. That single number just heavily underscores the sheer gravity of what authorities walked into. 4 lives lost. When we're looking at breaking news like this, we really have to ground ourselves in the human cost, right? We're talking about an entire family here, including a pregnant mother and 2 young children, just wiped out in a single event. It is an absolutely heartbreaking figure, and investigators are working around the clock to try and make sense of it.
Okay, to really understand how this all unfolded, we need to set the scene. The date is Monday, May 5th, 2026. The location? The Glendower Court neighborhood, which sits right inside the highly affluent River Oaks area of Houston, Texas. As we walk through this explainer together, we're going to rely entirely on the official police reports and the public statements that have surfaced from this specific time and place.
Now, what's really critical to note here is just how fast a normal routine turned into complete panic. On the morning of May 5th, the family's nanny and a relative suddenly lost all contact with them. Radio silence. By the afternoon, growing incredibly concerned, they alerted the authorities and asked for a welfare check. Fast forward to 5:30 p.m., Houston police officers arrive at the 2100 block of Kingston Street. After getting absolutely no response at the door, they were forced to breach the property and enter the home. And once inside, police discovered what they officially described as a profoundly disturbing scene. Found deceased in different areas of the house were 52-year-old Matthew Mitchell, his 39-year-old wife Thai Mitchell, who again was pregnant at the time, and their 2 young kids, 8-year-old Maya and 4-year-old Max. It is a chilling reality that instantly shifted the situation from a standard welfare check into one of the highest-profile investigations in the entire state of Texas.
Section 1. The Culinary Rise, Building an Empire.
To understand the shockwaves this caused, we have to look at who the Mitchells were. Their partnership was built on 2 wildly distinct but equally impressive backgrounds. Matthew studied at Emory University, spent time in France, Italy, and Oxford, and worked as a journalist in London, Paris, and New York before coming back to Houston to serve as the CEO of the Texas Drug Development Center. Thai, on the other hand, was a first-generation Vietnamese-American who grew up right there in Houston, helping out at her parents' family restaurant. She studied at the University of Houston and built a solid career as an HR and retail manager. 2 completely different paths that ultimately converged.
Over the course of their 11-year relationship, they pivoted into the culinary industry, and wow, did they build an absolute empire. Matthew earned a degree from the Art Institute of Houston, and together they launched these highly successful dining concepts: Traveler's Table, Traveler's Cart, and Foreign Fare. Their impact on the food scene was so massive that just last year, in 2025, the Texas Restaurant Association named them Restaurateurs of the Year. Plus, Thai had just been invited to join the board of directors a few months ago. It's safe to say their loss leaves a massive void in the Houston gastronomy world.
Section 2. Behind the perfect facade. The community reacts. So looking at the immediate fallout, we first turn to the family. Thai's sister, Lai Mai, released a truly heartbreaking public statement on Facebook, sharing photos of the family smiling outdoors. Confirming the passing of Thai, Maya, and Max, she wrote, "Our family is deeply grieved and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult time." It really just grounds this huge, sensational news story right back into the very real, personal grief of the relatives who are now left trying to pick up the pieces. But, you know, it's actually this quote from an anonymous neighbor that perfectly captures the total dissonance of this case. They said, "They were the example of success. We never imagined that behind those walls hid such a level of darkness." Neighbors pointed out that the kids were just starting their school years and the family was super active in social and community events. Honestly, to everyone looking from the outside in, they were literally the picture-perfect family.
Section 3. The police investigation. Searching for answers. And that brings us to the central question that is currently driving investigators up the wall. What on earth triggered this tragedy? I mean, what could possibly lead a highly successful, community-oriented person to commit such a devastating act of family violence? The chief of police has made it clear that they are working diligently to provide answers about the why of this event, and they are promising to leave absolutely no stone unturned.
Right now, based on the physical evidence found at the scene, the primary working hypothesis is a murder-suicide.
Police believe that Matthew used a firearm to take the lives of his wife and 2 kids before turning the weapon on himself. But, and this is important, while they are treating this as their main theory, authorities have heavily stressed that they're keeping all avenues of investigation completely open. They're still waiting on final autopsy results and the official technical analysis of the firearm.
Now, what's deeply, deeply troubling here is the complete lack of any kind of paper trail. Investigators were honestly baffled to find that there were absolutely 0 prior police reports for domestic issues at this residence. No 911 calls, no noise complaints, no public indications of trouble whatsoever. The violence escalated to a fatal degree, seemingly without a single documented warning sign.
Section 4. Warning signs, advocacy, and awareness.
Because of cases exactly like this, advocacy groups are out there stressing a really crucial point. Domestic violence does not distinguish between zip codes or bank accounts. Wealth and status, well, they can build thicker walls, making it so much harder for anyone to see the distress inside. Experts are urgently reminding anyone who might be concerned for themselves or even a loved one to use the available resources. Things like the National Domestic Violence Hotline or local Houston outreach shelters offer confidential risk assessments and safety planning.
So all of this leaves us with one final, incredibly vital question. Are we truly paying attention to the hidden signs of distress behind closed doors? This tragedy is a huge wake-up call for all of us to remain vigilant in our own communities. We've got to look past those perfect public facades, know what resources are out there, and really listen for those silent cries for help. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. Please stay safe and stay alert to the realities that might just be hiding in plain sight.